This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, very, very bad game played by the New York Knicks from the top to the bottom. This was just a terrible basketball game. The Knicks got trounced by the Brooklyn Nets 112-85. I don't even know how much more we can say about it, to be honest with you. They got smacked around all night long. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to stop talking about these no-name players before the game because I think they watch the game preview and they decide, all right, I'm going to come out and get mine because Edmund Sumner, killed us in the first half. Ended up with 18 points for the Brooklyn Nets. Outplayed Jalen Brunson. That was one of the matchups we said Jalen Brunson needs to win this matchup, dominate this matchup. Well, Edmund Sumner, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 70% from the field, shot 75% from the three-point line. Jalen Brunson, on the other hand, never really got it going. He was 28.6% from the field, 20% from the three-point line. 14 points, 4 rebounds. Bad game for the Knicks, man. Bad game for the New York Knicks. Let's go ahead and get into it. Tony, what's popping with you, man?
Yeah, yo, Blackest Time. What's good, Sim? What's good, Josh? Man, this is one of those games that I wish I was at work for and I didn't get to see. I feel like they wasted my day off. No positives out of it. Worst game of the season. Game of the season.
Bad game.
I do want to whenever you get a chance, Pudge Nice. He has blessing in disguise. My question for him is, please elaborate.
Yeah, what's the blessing?
However, the chat
what's the blessing?
Call in, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to know what the blessing is too, for real. Uncle Fulio, what's popping, man?
Evening, fellas. Evening, Sam. Evening, Tony. Even to the NBK fam, the chat out there. A horrible game all around. There's a lot of blame to go around. I already know a lot of the fans are going to try to point it towards one person in particular because that's what we do at, the anxiety of the fan base. It's just through this roof. But, as people were talking about before the game, the Knicks are basically a mediocre team. They're up and down. They're hot and cold, right? They have these games where it looks like we're going to be a top 6 playoff team. And then you have other games where the Knicks don't look like they belong in that class at all whatsoever. The stats proved it. The team stats proved it. The record, the 5-5 record, all that stuff basically shows who the Knicks are. They're hot and cold. They're inconsistent. I get it. Still early, but that's just who this team is right now. And the Nets simply had the best player on the floor today. So
he had a triple-double, right? He had a triple-double, but it was the other guys. You expect that Kevin Durant is going to get busy, but it's the other guys that step up and have great games for him. Seth Curry had 23 points, and he's known to be able to have big games. I'm not saying that, he shouldn't have those kind of games. Edmund Sumner came into the game averaging 4 points, had 18. The Knicks, and then they had a guy, they had Joe Harris with 10, Nick Claxton with 12. The Knicks, their 4th highest scorer was Jericho Sims with 7. You're not going to win basketball games like that. They turned the ball over a million times, led by Julius Randle. He had 4, and I'm not blaming Julius Randle. I mean, as far as offense is concerned, he's the only guy that came to play offensively. You know what I mean? RJ Barrett had 3 turnovers. Jalen Brunson had 3 turnovers. This was just a terrible, terrible, terrible game for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Just probably the worst game that you could imagine them having tonight.
Sam, I do want to add that I know I mentioned the Nets obviously had the best player on the floor tonight, but the reason why I say that, and you mentioned all the others, right? The others who stepped up, Kevin Durant simply made them better.
No,
like 12 assists, 12 assists he had. I mean, he was finding guys. He did exactly what we thought Jalen Brunson was supposed to do for us. What he has done for us in certain games this season. He did what exactly Jalen Brunson was supposed to do. Got those guys and got the ball in their shooting pockets. The passes he was making, the plays that he was making. I think, he was the biggest reason why those guys stepped up tonight because of what he was doing with the basketball, not just scoring, but also dishing the ball out. That's why I mentioned him specifically, the cornball.
Yeah. He's still a cornball. me, my brother, my son were watching the game. We were talking about it. We was like, listen, the dude is, the best scorer on the planet, but he's still a cornball. I'll tell him that too. I'll be like, KD, I love you, but you're a cornball. Nikki B from Harlem. He said, Brunson is unexpectedly terrible on defense, and our bench gave us nothing tonight. I don't know if he's terrible on defense, but he wasn't good tonight.
I was gonna say it shouldn't say is, it should say was.
Yeah, he wasn't good at all
who
tonight.
He is all year long.
And I'm not saying he's a lockdown defender, but he hasn't been just terrible all season long, like Tony said, in my opinion.
This is by far his worst game as a Knick. By far.
Absolutely.
You're talking about the horrible shooting. I mean, those type of games happen, but the turnovers, some of the turnovers he was making, the passes he was making, he just did not look in sync at all whatsoever today. This is to me, by far his worst game as a Knick.
No doubt about it. He wasn't in sync at all. And this is the dude the other night called in. I think his name was Charles. Maybe it was either Charles or George. I don't remember. But he said we were being too hard on the Knicks when we were talking about the three-point shooting. When the Knicks lost to the Celtics, we were talking about the shooting. But here we go again. Here we go again. And he was saying, well, the Nets, the Celtics, they shot 52% and this, that, and the third. And we were explaining to him and saying, yeah, but the Knicks helped with that. Their poor defense helped the Boston Celtics get hot. Tonight, the Nets, 14 for 34. They didn't shoot as many threes as the Boston Celtics, but they shot 41.2%. And you know what? The Knicks helped with that too because there were guys wide open from the three-point line all night. You know what I mean? Go ahead,
So
Tom.
how many threes did the Knicks shot?
The Knicks took 43 threes tonight.
43 pointers. I am willing to bet after Julius Randle's and one, every shot was a three-point shot. And there was a long period before that every shot the Knicks took was a three-point shot. I wouldn't be surprised if they took less than 3 2-point shots in the fourth quarter.
Well, let's check that out. I can check that out for you right now.
And they ended the third quarter with a bunch of threes in a row.
Fourth quarter, as soon as it comes up, internet's acting a little slow for some reason. The Knicks in the fourth quarter, never mind, it's not available to me. So maybe they're updating it. I guess I'll have to wait until it updates.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Here we go. In the fourth quarter, the Knicks took 17 three-point attempts. 17. They were 3 for 17 in the fourth quarter from the three-point line, and they took 21 shots overall.
4. I was off by 1.
Took 21 shots
I would have lost my bet then. But 4 2-point shots, and I'm pretty sure there wasn't any after Julius Randle's and one, and for about 4 to 5 possessions before his and one.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, the only counter I can say to that is, the Nets were already up big. You got to try to catch up in the game. You can't just be chipping away. They were so hot that, I hear what you're saying, though, because like I said, I think the Knicks should have been in the paint regardless. They should have more shots in the paint regardless. But, at that point,
if that's the strategy, and that's okay. That situation unit should have been out there. Should have been out
Agreed.
there. If that's what the strategy is, just put them up. Like don't even look like
Right.
it
Nah,
was
yeah.
one pass. If you semi open, you know what I mean.
Agreed.
Just pull up. And I mean, come on, that shouldn't be the philosophy if that's
Nah,
the philosophy.
I agree. I agree. We talked about it a little bit earlier today when we did the game preview. Just about the Knicks taking so many threes against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and if that's the strategy the Knicks are going to go with. We kind of said, I think, came to a consensus that we would rather see the Knicks, if they're hitting them, take them. If they're not, figure out a new philosophy. You know what I mean? And the Knicks tonight shot 27% from the three-point line, 27.9% from the three-point line. The only person really hitting was Julius Randle. The last two games, majority of Randle's shots have been from behind the arc. Tonight, he was 7 for 15 from the field. He was 4 for 8 from the three-point line. His numbers look good, but I didn't think he played a particularly well floor game tonight. You know what I'm saying? Just felt like he was going fast sometimes, trying to force the ball into small crevices. His decision-making, I thought, was off. You know what I'm saying? The entire team was off, but, just looking at Julius Randle and, his numbers, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and he shot the ball well, but the decision-making, the floor game, I just felt was not strong from him tonight. It wasn't strong from anybody, though. So I'm not blaming Julius Randle. People should know that by now, that I'm not going to blame one person. You know what I'm saying? Because if anything, he was the only guy that could actually score the ball. The only other person that shot a good percentage from the floor for the Knicks was Isaiah Hartenstein, and he was 1 for 2 for 50%. No, I'm sorry. Jericho Sims was 3 for 3 for 100, 100%, 3 for 3. Basically, though, of your primary players, your primary scorers, Randle was the only person that could make a shot.
Yeah, it was not Randle's fault at all. The problem was nobody else had an efficient game or a good game, because his play tonight, we lived through night in and night out. The difference is everybody else was horrible. You know what I mean? So had we won this game because of the rest of the team, obviously, and he had those numbers, we'd be saying, yo, Randle had a good game. He had a couple turnovers, couple of, couple of questionable decisions, but that's what we used to from him. You know what I mean? Night in and night out. So technically, because everybody else played bad, it kind of, it's overshadowing to me personally.
I just personally want to add that this is not about Randle and his statistics and the production. It's not about that. It's never been about that with Randle, because we all know Randle's 20 and 10, right? We all know that about Randle. It's the style of play that the Knicks sometimes find themselves in offensively. The ball kind of stagnates, and the spacing on the floor just doesn't look right. And you can blame that on a multitude of things. It's not just Julius Randle. And I agree with both of y'all, what y'all saying in regards to, Randle and some of the decisions that he made and other people not stepping up. But I think what really got the Knicks down in their rut is from the defensive end. Because they couldn't stop the Nets, and the Nets were scoring so much, and they were hitting so many three-point shots, I just kind of think that kind of went over into the offense and caused some of that indecision and bad decision-making, so that the Knicks are trying to keep up with this team that's shooting hot, for either the Nets shooting hot or for the Knicks not playing good defense, one of the two, and they're trying to keep up with them. And I think that's how that kind of translated in.
I disagree in the sense that I think offense was more the problem tonight than defense. Like we went through more than one stretch of 4 minutes without scoring the ball, not without scoring the ball, and in one of those 4 minute stretches in particular, I believe the Nets only scored 3 or 5 points. So our defense was actually good during that stretch, and we just couldn't score the ball. So
I think they go hand in hand, Tony. I'm not trying to put one against the other. I think they go hand in hand. The reason why the offense was so bad is because defensively we couldn't stop them, and we tried to keep up with them, and we just couldn't.
And look, well, that's part of the offense. That's part of why we didn't score. I mean, and then just look at what we average and
I
the
mean,
difference.
we scored
You know what I mean? We averaged
85.
115,
Yeah,
right?
we
And
scored
we have
85
85.
points.
What we gave up?
Gave up 112.
112. So we gave up less than we averaged. It wasn't defense tonight. It was
Yeah.
it was offense.
I mean, I think there were definitely some portions of really bad defense tonight. You know,
Yes,
where
easily.
there
I'm
were
not saying
guys
the defense
open,
was perfect.
you know, where there were guys wide open from the 3-point line and things. But offensively, we really stunk it up offensively.
Agree with that.
You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes wide open layups. I mean,
Back to back.
Yeah, you know, RJ would get to the basket. And you're like, okay, boom, we got this nice little layup. And he threw a layup over the rim. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? How are we missing these layups and bunnies and things like that? The offense was just bad tonight. Bad tonight. The Knicks, let me pull up the box scores, the game charts and all of that. We can take a look at how bad this offense, the Knicks really played offensively and defensively, to be honest with you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just a bad game. And they got out-rebounded 55-46 by a team that was averaging 35 rebounds a night.
Yep.
35 rebounds a night. They got out-rebounded 55-46. 21 assists. That has to be a season low for the Knicks, right? 21 assists. I think that's probably a season low. 30 assists for the Nets. 11 steals for the Nets. 5 for the Knicks. 5 blocks for the Nets. 4 for the Knicks. The Knicks, they're averaging 15 turnovers a game. They had 15 turnovers tonight. 14 turnovers for the Nets. But it comes down to shooting, man. 32.2% from the field for the Knicks, 48% for the Nets. 27.9% from the field, from the three-point line for the Knicks, 41.2% for the Nets. The Knicks shot 65% from the free throw line. The Nets shot 70% from the free throw line. Points in the paint, Knicks 30, Brooklyn 40. Second chance point. Can't happen, right? Second chance points. You said it in the game preview, Uncle Fulio. The Knicks should dominate in the paint. Well, they didn't. 30 points. Right? Second chance points. The Knicks 11, Brooklyn Nets 21. Fast break points, the Nets 16, and the Knicks had 10. The Knicks got dominated from all angles of this basketball game. All angles. You know, and this is just a bad one. It's just a bad one. You know what I mean? I was talking to my brother, and I was like, yeah, let me go home and do this show. He was like, man, I don't know how you can do it. If it was me, I'd be like, show canceled tonight.
Yo, you know it's crazy, Sam? I literally was just about to say we should all get like this little card, you know what I mean, or 5 cards where we could just call in on a show after a certain loss. You know what I mean? Like it can't be the reputation, but we be like, yo, Sam, I'm gonna use one of my
I'm gonna use one of my sick cards.
You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel you,
be
man.
hard, yo.
It's crazy. You know, if we played our best game of the season in Minnesota, then we played our worst game of the season in Brooklyn, the very next game. And that tells you the story, like Josh said, up and down. It tells you the story of this team. You know, and that's probably what we're going to be the entire season until we find that one guy that can, just really be consistent every single night. That star that can be consistent every single night. And you can rely on this guy to give you 30 every single night. It's going to make the game easier for everybody else.
No, Sam. Some fans think we don't need anybody. The Knicks are good. We're good. We don't need nobody, right? Where those people at?
I think most people saying we're in a good position, not
good.
Not
yeah, good position. Good position.
Oh, are we? Are we really? Okay.
I
mean, obviously after tonight, you'll look and say you were not in a good position, but the Knicks are still in a good position, Josh.
At the end of the season, we're going to say the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? They're in a good position to get better as well as to add a player. They just got to do it. They got to pull the trigger when it's time.
That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those people like worst come to worst, if all things fail, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm hoping for, but it's not the end all be all. We're still in a position to make moves that make us better. Whether it's trades, you know what I mean? We have the assets for.
I totally agree with that, Tony.
Pull
But
the trigger.
I'm just going off on the people that think that we have players on this roster that are untradeable right now. Those are the people that I'm really going after. There's not one player on this roster outside of Brunson that's untradeable. RJ,
I mean,
we don't want to trade RJ.
Logically, we all agree with that, but the reports came out more so. The more important thing is the reports came out from the Knicks saying that. Then it don't matter what we think. You know what I mean? Like, so if that's true, then you know what I mean. Then you should be concerned.
I mean, definitely, nobody's untradeable. Nobody in the league is untradeable. You know what I mean? There's always somebody that you would say, oh yeah, or a package. You'd be like, oh yeah, I trade this guy for that package.
Matter of fact, did the Lakers lose tonight?
I think they're still playing, but
I just think when you look at, and I don't want to revisit the Donovan Mitchell trade, but there's clearly teams that are on the up and up that are coming up. They got a good young talent or whatever. Like, there's players they'd be willing to risk to give up to make the team better. And I just want the Knicks to finally pull that trigger.
Well,
right?
Hey.
We don't have guys like that we drafted that you're going to say are going to be stars. We just don't. Right. So I'm just really going at those people that think that RJ, Obi, all the rest of these guys are going to be stars, right? Because we drafted them homegrown, all of that stuff. That's not who they are. And that has nothing to do with tonight's game. We put that out there as well. But just in general, we need that guy, like Simmons saying, and we just don't have him right now. Period. Point blank.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. We don't have him. You know what I mean? But until then, we've got to establish some kind of consistency. I wouldn't be mad if the Knicks lost this game and it was a good one.
They competed,
you lose. You're gonna lose games, and that's still being up and down, and that's still being 500. Right? And there's going to be games like this. There's no doubt about it. Every season, every team has games like this. But, when there are certain things that become repetitive in your losses, and you can have a team that is 500, but they lose the game different ways.
Right.
Certain things with the Knicks continue to be the same. The three-point shooting, the perimeter defense, et cetera, et cetera. When they lose, and even sometimes when they win, you can still point to that as being an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Argue that's the only consistency they have. It's the three-point defense.
Somewhere along the line, you're looking to say, how does this, how do we fix this, right? People point to Quentin Grimes as far as the defense and the three-point shooting. Listen, let me see it fully. You know what I'm saying? I know what he did last year a little bit, and I'm glad that he's a good defender. I think he is a good defender, but, I just want to see it fully before we start saying it. And I've been saying it all season long. This is not just about this basketball game. You know what I mean? He came in and he played some garbage time minutes. But let me see it fully before you start anointing this guy, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean?
I don't even think he's fully healthy, Sam. I really think that's pretty much what it is. That's why he's
probably isn't
garbage time kind of minutes. Yeah,
right. Probably isn't fully healthy, and they're probably being careful because it seems every time he plays, it flares up. It's got to be plantar fasciitis. It's not out there, but it's got to be that, right? You know what I mean? Because I've had it before, and it can. I've had it, and it's gone away within a week, but I've known people who have had it in the last months. You know what I'm saying? And it's painful. It's painful. You know what I mean? It's painful. It's really painful.
So, I don't know. Can I highlight a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave Sanders, Tony is playing it too cool. I'm starting to fire you too. Get mad, Tony. I'm highly upset, to be honest.
He's just a cool brother, man. Come on.
He's a cool cat.
The thing is, I calm myself down before I go live. so I don't have to come on here and just lose my mind. But I'm definitely upset. I'm not happy with tonight's game. And my next show is subsequently, talking about some potential moves we can make now and later. So it's not like I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah, we're at game number 11. The Knicks are 5. Oh, They're 5-6 now, which is probably still going to land them in that 7th to 8th spot, depending on what else happens this evening. Looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks are 9-1, Cleveland Cavaliers 8-2, Boston Celtics 7-3, Atlanta Hawks 7-3, the Raptors are 6-5, the Bulls are 6-6. The Knicks are 5-6, Philadelphia 5-6, Washington 5-6, Indiana 5-6. The Brooklyn Nets are now 5-7. So even after this loss, the Knicks should still be in that play-in area. And when you look at these teams, though, at some point, the Brooklyn Nets are probably going to, get a little hot, catch fire. The Miami Heat, you would expect that they're going to catch fire and rise up in the standings. And those are two teams outside of the play-in at this point.
Philly.
Right?
Also.
Philly. Philly's in the play-in, right? So I'm just looking at the teams outside of the play-in. You got the Nets and you got the Heat, right? They're going to replace two of these teams that's in the play-in at some point and then maybe even move into playoff positioning, right? Between the Knicks, the 76ers, the Wizards, and the Pacers, they're going to fall out of that play-in spot. You would think the Philadelphia 76ers eventually will move up into the playoff spot, and maybe Toronto or Chicago will fall down into that play-in spot. You know what I mean? The Knicks can't be one of the two teams that get replaced in that play-in spot. Obviously, we have a long season to go. But when you're a team like the Knicks and, around 500, every single game is crucial. If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks, or somebody like that, you don't feel pressure when you drop one. And it's easier to get back on a winning track when you don't really feel pressure if you drop one. You know what I'm saying? But when you're 5-5, 5-6, you're hovering around that 500 and you have no separation in your record, you take a loss, you feel a little bit of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, damn, we couldn't afford to go 5-6 or go below 500. At this point in the season, the Knicks, it doesn't hurt you as much. But, if they're still around this 500 level, when you get late in the season, these losses really, really hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Knicks will have a lighter schedule coming up. They play the Pistons. They play the Thunder. And then, we all thought that the Jazz was going to be a light game on the schedule. That's now a tough game because they're 9-3 on the season.
And that's on national TV as well, right? I believe that's one of them that they highlighted.
I think that's on ESPN. Yeah. Obviously they felt like and thought that Donovan Mitchell was going to be a Knick. So,
right.
Because normally the New York Knicks and the Utah Jazz are not on national TV.
Right.
It's not a game you put on national TV. I don't know. It's early in the season. Maybe they replace that game. Maybe they don't. But it's early, it's early in the season. Maybe they don't care. But the Knicks will have a chance to, beat the Pistons. They'll have a chance to beat the Thunder. And then we'll see what happens with the Utah Jazz. Maybe they can get themselves above 500, before they go into a really, really tough stretch. After they play the Jazz. And the Jazz might be the beginning of this tough stretch, to tell you the truth. It's the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors. You look right there. That's two very tough teams that you're about to play. Then after the Warriors, it's the Phoenix Suns. Then you play the...
It's a road trip, Sam? Road trip, right?
It's a, 5-game West Coast road trip. Yeah, 5-game West Coast road trip. Utah, Denver, Golden State, Phoenix, and Oklahoma City. And then they come home and they play Portland.
Tough.
Then they play Memphis Grizzlies.
Tough.
Then they get a break with the Detroit Pistons. And then after the Pistons, they play Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland, Atlanta, Charlotte. It's a grueling schedule coming up over the next couple of weeks. They better listen, they better get the wins that they're supposed to get. You know what I mean? And then try to knock off a couple of these teams in here somewhere along the way. You know what I mean? And, I don't have any. I have zero confidence that they'll beat Denver. Zero confidence that they'll beat Golden State, especially with the way they're giving up the 3 ball right now. The Phoenix Suns, I guess we'll see.
Cam Johnson's out for them, so we don't have to worry about him. He's the best pound-for-pound three-point shooter.
Oklahoma City, that should be a winnable game. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but winnable. Portland Trailblazers at home. I don't know. Who knows what the real Trailblazers are right now at this point in the season. The Memphis Grizzlies, that should be a good game, I think. I don't know, man. I don't know. They better knock off the games that they can get.
Sam, but we did talk about this before the season. We knew that this first part of the season was going to be tough. And even with this 5-6 record, like, that's better than what I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be somewhere around 3-8 or something like that, right? So that's better than what I thought they were going to be. I know Tony was much more optimistic, right? So I don't know if his prediction, I don't remember if his prediction is kind of spot on right now, but we already know this was going to happen as far as not the way they're playing, but the record, as far as the record is concerned. So,
yeah, we knew.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is.
We knew.
I'm pretty sure I said 10-10 after 20, but hoping for 12-8.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember the exact number that I had. I know we broke it down and we were going game by game. I don't exactly remember where it was, but the Knicks have had some chances early in this season to be above 500. You know what I mean? And every team is going to have chances to win basketball games and blow it, and they're going to win some, and so on and so forth. They've had their chances. For a team like the Knicks, with knowing the schedule that they have coming up, man, when you get those chances, you got to get them. You got to get them. But, hey, we got to rebound. How do we rebound? Where do we go? Where do we start with rebounding? We play Friday versus the Pistons at home, right? This is the perfect game to rebound. The perfect team to rebound against. What is it that we have to do? Go ahead, Uncle Fully. I'll start with you. What do we do to rebound?
And just for full disclosure, I don't think Sim means like rebound, like physically. He's talking about rebound and get back on track.
Yeah, get up off the mat. You got knocked down. You got hit in the jaw. How do you get up off the mat, right? Deontay Wilder got knocked out by Tyson Fury. He came back and scored a crushing first-round knockout a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah. That's what I mean. How do you rebound? How do you get up off the mat?
Defense, and that's where it starts. The Knicks got to be able to improve their defense because I believe from a philosophical standpoint, that's where Tibbs, I think that's where everything kind of comes from. The lack of offense, I think the Knicks feed off of their defense, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So if they can improve that, be able to close out on three-pointers, limit three-point shots, and they're already slowing down people from getting in the paint. That's already what they're doing. But if they can be able to prevent teams from knocking down their three-point shots, I think the Knicks can win some games. But the issue is because we leave these people open for miles and miles, no closeouts. We get down early, and then we have to kind of fight ourselves back into the game. And the Knicks have shown some resiliency to do so, but it's going to be certain teams you can go up against. You're not going to be able to do that. So I just think that's where it needs to start. On the defensive end, limit those three-point shots, and then let everything kind of come off of that.
Yeah, okay. Tony, where do we start, man?
I mean, we just got to take care of these next two. And I don't even like grouping games. I said game by game, but we got to take care of these next two. And I mean, worst game of this season for Brunson individually. So I assume he'll be better. I mean, I don't know, man. This is a discourage. This one got me low. It got me upset. I'm trying not to show anger. I'm trying to be calm with it, but I don't know, man. This is very discouraging because there was no effort. There was no fight, especially at the end. At the end, like it really was just shooting 3 after 3 after 3. Like, I understand what you're saying that they're down by so much, but when you don't make them and you not rebounding and it's one possession, you know what I mean? Like that's just feeding the other team offensively.
Yeah, I know, man. This one got me down too, because I don't know. I I expect that this team. Listen, there's going to be blowouts every season. Every team's going to catch a blowout. I just expect, just a better effort out there on the floor. So it's definitely disappointing for me.
Tony, I go back to the Boston game. Remember the Boston game when Boston hit all those shots? They made the exact amount of 3-pointers that we attempted, right? Mm-hmm. The Knicks dominated them in the paint that game, right? But the thing is, you cannot trade 2s for 3s. That's why it's imperative that you play defense, start on the defensive end of the floor. And I'm not trying to combat offense versus defense, because collectively it's been terrible. It hasn't been good, right? Or some games it's been good, some games it hasn't. But that game alone, that example alone, the Knicks were trading 2s for 3s. We're playing good offense, right? But because we couldn't stop them from hitting 3s, we were always going to be at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah,
and I feel like
that wasn't the case tonight.
Right, because we didn't score that well offensively either, right? But I'm saying I just think that's where it comes from. Being down early, giving up wide open 3s early on in the game, it kind of feeds over into the offense and the mentality of, I guess, the players on the floor. And I guess, I don't know if Tibbs is telling them to do this, but it kind of feels like the Knicks are trying to keep up. And like Sim said, we just don't have the players to be able to do that night in and night out.
Yeah,
right? So that's why, for me, that's just how I feel about it.
One of the things that I've worried about, and I've been worrying about it for years, well, for at least the last 2 years, let me say that. When it started with the team that went to the playoffs a couple of years ago, they had to play so hard to stay in every game. I just felt like they were going to run out of gas. They didn't. Right? They didn't. But I feel like this team also has to play so hard to stay in every game, because they don't have. Me and my brother and my son were talking about it tonight. You look at guys like Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. These guys, they score so effortlessly, right? When you look at our players, to score is a chore for them.
Even our best ones.
Even our best ones. You know what I'm saying? Julius Randle. Julius Randle. It's a chore for him to score. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson. It's a chore for him to score. RJ Barrett. It's a chore for him to score. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a toll on you. We don't have any players that can just easily score the basketball. You know what I mean? And I feel like, some games, there are going to be games where this team just doesn't have the energy, because they've expended so much energy for the last 2, 3, 4 games. There are going to be some games where they just don't have it. You know what I mean? I even though they have depth, our main guys have to work so hard to score the basketball. I feel like we might have some of these games.
Yeah, we're not top heavy, as Steph likes to put it.
Yeah, I don't know, Tony. What do you think? Are you worried about that at all?
I mean, I am. Part of me, it makes me wonder, even as bad as Mitch is playing, do we miss anything of that? But
right.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. These guys gotta be better than tonight. They gotta be better than tonight.
I know, man.
They cannot, like, this is not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly, and this is gonna be motivating for the Nets. And this was the worst thing that could happen, to be honest. Let's think about this in perspective. You can't blame Fournier, right?
Right.
Like, he's already been demoted. You know what I mean? He's been taking that like a champ and showing all the signs of a good vet. But then you have the worst game of the season, and it's not like he was horrible tonight. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, there was a point where he was a contributing factor to us, like, still staying in the game. or trying to fight back, which was rare tonight. You know what I mean? Like it might have been 3 or 4 moments where it looked like, all right, at least we trying to fight back. But other than that, like we cannot sustain it. But how does he feel now? You know what I mean? Like I got demoted. I'm doing all the right things, and now we have the worst game of the season. Like internally, he's got to be saying like, yeah, you think it's my fault, but
Right.
you know what I
But
mean?
look, right.
So I don't know, man. We're gonna have to turn it around just for the sake of the team, or make some moves.
Yeah, I
Hold
mean,
on, wait a
Make some
minute.
moves.
So, but what kind of moves are you talking about? Because if the Knicks are going to play like this, and I don't think they will. I think this is one game from the effort standpoint. What moves are we talking about? Because it's not. It's easy to just make a bunch of trades during the middle of the season. If the Knicks come play like this, and they got a lot more effort games like this for the next couple of weeks, what are we talking about? Tibbs?
I mean, there's a number of moves. I was referring to trade, a trade of like whether it's big or small. Like it doesn't have to be a big trade for it to be a trade that helps the team in a general area. Now, I'm not saying we don't need a superstar, but we don't just need a superstar. Like that's not the only remedy to at least making us a playoff team. You know what I mean? And at
Right,
this point, I
but you
think
mentioned effort though, Tony. That's the part I was really going at. No matter who you trade for, we're talking about effort, right? That's a different thing than personnel on the floor. Because tonight, I think the Nets had probably the better team on the floor, but tonight was an effort issue. I think you said that, right? So if the Knicks are going to play that way, if the Knicks are going to play that way,
I mean, that's not the Knicks' MO. I'm not worried about the effort long term, or us collectively shooting this bad long term. Like this is not the normal. We haven't been witnessing this type of game all season long. This was our worst game, so I'm not gonna act like this is all we've seen all year. You know what I mean? Like this is the worst game, so I'm not gonna even like look at it that far. For us to play like this consecutively, let alone 3 or 4 times, I don't think I would have to see that to believe that's gonna happen. It's not to that point. I'm just saying I want to be above 500. I think this team could tinker around 500. Others don't. You know what I mean? You think we're gonna be under, but I wanna be above it. And if we're gonna make a move, and if there's a move out there, a small move that could stamp us at that, I do it. That's all I'm saying.
that's so short-sighted. But go ahead.
I mean,
It's my opinion. I'm sorry, Tony.
what's the alternative if you because you say we're gonna be bad, but not lottery bad. So
No, I
what's
think
so
we're
what's
going to be.
what's the
I don't think.
alternative?
I don't think there's that much of a difference when you're talking about a couple games over 500 or a couple games under. Like if that's what you're making a trade for, to me, I don't think that's worth making it.
I think there is a big difference because the value of making the playoffs or making the play in and having a chance to fight for the playoffs is more valuable than the 21st pick as opposed to the
But that's
30th.
not what you said. You said over 500. That's what you said. You can be 2 games over 500 and 2 games under 500 and still make the play in. So to me, that's not that big of a difference.
You also could be under 500 and not make the playoffs. So I'm also comparing it to your point of view. I'm not just saying what I said. Like the difference between our mentalities. You're saying that's short-sighted. I think short-sighted is saying let the chips fall where they may. I don't care if we don't make the playoffs. This team sucks and is not good enough. Like that's short-sighted.
I'm not saying that. I'm just going by based on what. I'm going by what you just said. You said I want to be over 500, and I want to make a trade to be able to do that. That's what you said. Literally, you just said that.
Okay, and I'm saying that gives us a chance to make the playoffs, or at the very least, fight to make the playoffs.
Being under 500 does too. A game under, 2 games under 500 is the same thing. That's why I said that's short-sighted. If you're going to make a trade mid-season to finish over 500, to me that sounds less about the playoffs or the play-in and more about just pride, having a winning record.
Oh,
You know
so
what I'm saying?
I should have been more specific and
Right.
said why over 500.
Right. Or said playoffs. If that's the goal. You mentioned the record specifically.
That's always the goal. And
Okay.
I think that gets us there for sure, as opposed to 38 wins. Doesn't get us there for sure. That's all I'm saying. I think 500 gets us there for sure with the shot. You know what I mean?
Okay. I do want to say I had a couple of people that called in and I missed your call. Give a call back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The phone lines are definitely open, 516-362-5212. In the meantime, while we're waiting for some people to call in, good conversation from Uncle Fulio and Tony, I want to hear from Tom Thibodeau and get his thoughts on tonight's game. And then Savvy D, we're going to get right to you. All right. So appreciate your patience.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tom Thibodeau. Let's hear what he's got to say about tonight's performance.
So we're a good team when we help each other out. So we'll take a look at the film.
What's your message to the guys after a night like this?
It just shows you how quickly things can change in the league. Played really well at Minnesota. Next game, we didn't play well. So we have to take a look at it, make our corrections, get ready for the next one.
You mentioned giving up 38 in the first quarter there. I know you need to take a look at the film, but what would you put your finger on defensively as being the issue?
Probably a compilation of things. I thought we were low energy on offense, low energy on defense, turn the ball over, turn it over, and then gave them fast break buckets, so they went on a run. Durant put a lot of pressure on us. So,
Tom, especially in that first quarter when Durant he had 6 assists in the first quarter. How do you think you guys did just playing? I know you loaded up on him, but how do you think you guys did playing those passing lanes?
The thing is, he got everything. He scored. He made plays. He created easy offense. So, we have to do better. That's, I think, giving them. They got a lot of confidence in that first quarter. So you do that, it's hard to slow a team down once they get going like that.
Tom, when you say low energy offense, low energy defense, is that maybe you miss shots?
Yeah, no, it's snowballed on us. So probably over dribbling, and then like when you have to, because of the switching, you have to cut more, right? So you have to slip, you have to put pressure on the rim. You can't stand. You got to move the ball. You got to move your bodies. So there's no stats for that. That's just giving yourself up for the team. And so when you do that, we're a good offensive team. We didn't make shots, so that's part of it. And some of them were good looks. Some of them wide open. We didn't make them.
I think the other night against Atlanta, you were saying defensive transition. You didn't love it.
Well, more the live ball stuff. That's a big, we're not going to be perfect. You're going to turn the ball over some, but you got to make sure you're not conceding those baskets. And so that's the thing. Hustle to get back, not to give those points up. You can make a mistake and get the ball back, but we're giving too many points up off turnovers, and that that's something that we have to fix.
So you saw that again a little bit tonight.
Yeah. I think we had 15 turnovers and gave up 25 points.
When you said in the beginning we were a good team when we helped each other out, you weren't seeing that tonight. Was that off when you were talking about?
Nah, and it's like you help each other out with a screen, you help each other out with a slip, you help each other just kicking the ball side to side and then move without the ball. Sometimes your cut is what will loosen the defense up, right? And so. And the thing is and I want to make sure that I think sometimes when you get in a hole like we did, there's a sense that I want to get us out of this. And you can't do it by yourself. You have to do it with each other. You got to help each other. And I think part of it was we were trying to get out of the hole, and then we were, trying to do it too much like by ourselves, and you can't do that, So hopefully we'll learn from it, and I think we will.
Tom, what was the biggest area of concern for you, or what was most upsetting about tonight's performance?
Just the way we got behind it. The thing is like readiness to play is a big part of the league. It's like when you look at teams that have the lead after the first quarter, so like you don't want to ease into a game, particularly on the road. You're on the road and you got to come out with intensity and urgency. And look, missed shots are part of the game. We can deal with that. But like that's where we have to be able to count on our defense, our rebounding, and low turnovers. That'll put us in position to win. Some nights we're going to shoot it great. Like we shot it great the other night, we didn't shoot it great tonight. So, but we got to be able to count on those other things. Those other things we can control. And so I think that's the big thing. And we can't, you can't allow, if you're not making shots, you can't allow that to affect other parts of the game for you. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Tom, you've gotten a couple of games now to look at Sims with the first unit. What do you think of the way that the offense works with him out there?
Well, the thing I do like about him is the pressure that he puts on the rim. And I think that it forces the defense to collapse, and that'll open up other things for us. And he gets out of his screens usually pretty quickly, and he plays above the rim. So I like that part of him. And the thing is he's still like finding his way, but he's a very good passer. We haven't seen that yet, but we've seen it in practice. So there's he's got a big upside to him, and we didn't play well as a team tonight. So, but I like him a lot.
They just played harder than us tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to RJ, but I want to find out what you guys think about what you heard from Tom Thibodeau, all right? And then, we'll get a couple of quick thoughts. Then we'll get to RJ Barrett. Savvy, since you're just joining us, start with you, man.
Salute to the chat, salute to the panel, and big shout out to the people in the chat, part of the Savvy Hive that helped me get in here. You know what I mean? Your support will not go on. Your support will not be forgotten. That being said, I agree very much with Tom Thibodeau's assessment of the game, but my issue is, lack of effort on offense and defense. We all see that. That wasn't some sort of an insightful thing that he said that was like, oh, that was the problem. We all seen the game.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, what are you going to do about it? What do you do about effort? What do you do as the coach of the New York Knicks, a team that still has Julius Randle, who has suffered some excruciating losses against the Nets? RJ Barrett, the same. Okay? We have Brunson, who is still trying to prove himself. And it's the Nets in Brooklyn who is trying to take our fan base. What more of an incentive is there to be fired up and give good effort in this game tonight? What can a coach do about that? Here's my thing. I think we just played bad. I don't think it was necessarily that much of an effort problem.
I was waiting to get you, Savvy.
I was missing, some people's fire, their usual fire that they have, because I saw some standing and watching off the ball on offense, which always drives me insane. Like, cut somewhere, buddy. But in terms of what he was saying about individual players, all right, yeah, Sims is gonna be good, but we definitely missed Mitch's paint protection tonight. Okay. Fournier, he tried, but what was he supposed to do about it? I just think that everybody played worse than they usually play tonight. And it happened against a team where we did not need that to be the case. We could have clamped down on 4 out of 5 people, let KD do his thing.
and maybe beat them by virtue of that. But we didn't do that. We didn't guard anybody at all. We didn't play the passing lanes well on defense. We didn't stop anybody. We didn't make any shots. We didn't try to attack the lanes driving. It was ugly. It was horrible to watch.
It was ugly. No doubt about it. Let me get to this phone call, then I'll get around to you guys. I don't want them to be waiting too long. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Yo, you here?
Yeah, this is Jay Witt from Nyack.
What's going on, Jay? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing all right today.
Talk to us,
I mean,
man.
the way I see it, I mean, I gotta kind of agree with Tony on what he said about a small move.
Okay.
The front office is just way too focused on this superstar thing. Just way too laser focused on it. Why not go out and get a guy? I mean, you see that your deficiency is at three-pointer. So why not go out and get a guy here or there at the wing to solidify that hole and then see where that takes you? And then you get to a record at the end of the season that you're comfortable with, and then maybe a superstar may want to come here. Because the way it looks now, no superstar is going to want to get traded here, or they're going to want to sign with the Knicks. That's all I got.
So what? So then, are you moving players to bring in this piece?
I mean, we got all these picks, we got all these assets. You got to use something to make this team better. You can't just look at it and think, "Oh, they're going to get better."
So see, my question is, and Tony,
Tibb and his.
Yeah, my question is, and Tony, you can jump in too. You know, yeah, you got some assets, and you look at the players that you have. Do you want to start using these assets for little pieces that you don't know, if this guy is going to work or not? You're basically trying them out to see if they're going to work. Or do you want to save them, get you a guy, and then start putting little pieces around that guy? You look at what you have left after you made that trade and say, okay, this guy can fit next to him. This guy can fit next to him. This guy's a rebounder. This guy's a hustler. Now we know we got to go out and get this type of guy and that type of guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which way do you go about doing it?
I mean, we're shooting less than 30% from three in a game against the Nets. That's our problem. I mean, that's been our problem really all season. These guys are shooting up UFOs coming off the board. I mean, look at Rose today. I mean, he couldn't even, come close to getting a three. I mean, Obi's the only one that's been doing this thing from behind the line. I mean, we need more three-point shooters. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
About where we're at right now. And you can't look at it and just keep thinking that this squad that we have right now is good enough to even win 38 games. I'm sorry. I just don't see it.
That proves my point.
Needs some improvements in a lot of places.
But that's where I just, I'm not sure if you start to, because you're still trying to develop some of these guys that's here into some of those type of pieces you're talking about. That's going to take time, of course. So I just don't know if you give up pieces to get those type of players you're saying, or if you bring in the big piece first and then start to put those pieces around it. You know what I mean?
I honestly feel like we have enough assets to do both, and waiting. Now, granted, we missed out on one. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not discounting that at all. But to wait for the next one, not knowing who it is, when it is, when the opportunity is going to present itself. Now, and that's why I say small move, because, and I'm going to get into it, later on tonight with a couple of guys in particular, but I think smaller moves won't cost as much. You know what I mean? And if it makes the team better now, I think you got to do it.
It just wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt seen somebody other than Fournier out there chucking up threes. I'm sorry.
He's not even playing that much.
That's
He's not
just the
even
way
playing
I
that
see
much.
it.
Through that, right?
Can I respond to him, Sam? Listen, I just 150% disagree with you here. You're talking about making a small move now for what?
Okay.
For what? Like, okay, the Knicks are on pace to be under 500, right? Win 39, 40 games, right? And then you make another small move so they can win 43. That's mediocre. Having a record, a couple games over 500 is still mediocre. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, that's not going to move the needle for the team. But we're already done that already. Let this team kind of grow the way it is right now. You didn't get the superstar player in the offseason. That's what you signed up for. Live with it. And then when the right move comes along, you make it. Making a move right now just to make the play-in, and you're not even guaranteed to make the playoffs for this year, to me, that's very short-sighted. In my opinion, that's very short-sighted. I think the Knicks have good role players right now. They have that on the team already. They're just missing that one guy. Let that be the focus. You already know what you were coming into this season. And if you didn't, you were completely naive. This team is mediocre. Adding another small role player to this squad is going to continue to make you mediocre. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I disagree depending on
who was that
the role player.
Who was what player?
Who is that player? Who is that player that's going to come, that's going to shake loose from another team? I'm just not seeing it.
Well, you never know until it happens. No one thought Donovan Mitchell was going to get traded this offseason until it happened, right? So you never know. But you have to keep yourself in that position.
I mean, if you look at what's out there right now, I mean, people are starting to, I don't want to say that this is a rumor or it has any truth to it, but like an Anthony Davis, maybe he's not unhappy. No. Is that who you really want to go out and get?
No. Don't bring up his name. No. We're not messing with Anthony Davis. Because if you trade for Anthony Davis, you need to trade for an entire medical staff.
Because he's available.
I just don't think I don't think you would ever know when that player is going to be available until it happens. It's kind of spontaneous, right? You never know when that player is going to become available. So you keep your assets where they are, right? And then when the player shakes free, then you'll be able to make a move. But making a short-sighted move right now just to win a couple more games, to me makes no sense at all because you're still going to be mediocre. How's that moving the needle?
Can I ask a question?
You never know what will move the needle, though. You never know what will move the needle.
Donovan Mitchell could have moved the needle. I promise you that.
Oh, for sure, but not for the price. Not for the price.
But you want to make moves, right? You want to make little moves here and there now, right? So what different? Like, how does that make sense? You can say you're not comfortable with the same when
I was
players,
in the middle with that Donovan Mitchell trade. But one day I was with it, one day I wasn't. And, I'm still not decided whether we made the right move or not.
Hey,
I can tell you what I feel. I don't feel like we made the right move. I wanted Donovan Mitchell here. But, I know it wasn't all the Knicks. It wasn't all the Knicks. Danny Ainge had something to do with it too. But I wanted Donovan Mitchell with the Knicks. I feel like Donovan Mitchell on this basketball team right now, and it might have meant that you didn't have RJ Barrett, this team, I think, is on a whole nother trajectory, in my opinion.
Yes.
I love RJ. Though. I'm not saying I don't like RJ. I love RJ. Tony, hold up. Tony was going to say something, ask a question.
We wouldn't have been as deep as we are now. I mean, if you want to call what we got deep. And we'd be 3 or 4 first-round picks in the hole. So
I think we
wouldn't be mediocre.
I think we would have been as deep. I think we wouldn't have been as deep because there's some guys out there that they were going to sign. You know what I'm saying? We would have been older, but I think we still would have been as deep. I think so. But Tony, go ahead. You were going to ask the caller something.
Oh no, actually, the question is to you and Josh. Do you guys think a small move is going to hinder a big move afterwards?
No.
So.
See, I don't know. See, it depends on what you give up in that small move. Because if you give up a couple of picks, it could hinder a big move. Or if you give up a player that the team that you made the move with, or the team that you're getting that big move, you give up a player and say, well, we kind of liked this guy. It could. I don't know. It depends on how small that move really is and what you're giving up.
What if you guys? What? I mean, let's just say we woke up tomorrow and Rose made a move for Josh Hart out in Portland last year of his contract. And now he's here for, whatever they would offer them, whatever they would want. I mean, would that be something that you'd be like, all right, that was a waste of time? I don't know. To me, that's a good move.
It's a bad move. He's on the last year of his contract. So you're only making a move for this season.
Yeah,
you're only making a move for this season. That's short-sighted. It makes no sense whatsoever.
No, first of all, no, it's not, because we don't know what we gave up.
I'm just saying, that wouldn't be so bad if we did that. It wouldn't take 4 first-round picks to get Josh Hart to come in here and play D and shoot some threes for us.
Exactly. And I don't know what he makes, but if we gave up Fournier, how short-sighted is it? Because now we're getting off a long-term contract. Now re-signing him is still a possibility at a cheaper price than what we gave up for Fournier. So it's not short-sighted at all. And he's a good shooter, whether you want to argue if he's better shooter than Fournier or not, but he brings 2 sides to the ball. So he can play a little bit of defense as well. So it's not short-sighted at all.
It's very short-sighted because you don't know whether
on the move. And it might not even cost it may cost one of the unprotected. I mean, one of the protected picks. Minutes. One of the heavy protected picks.
Come on, don't shake your head like that,
case, man. I'm not mad at it. But it might not cost a pick at all. Or it might cost a couple of seconds.
That's so naive. Why would they trade an expiring contract and not
I'm not saying that's the only thing, though. I'm not saying that's the only.
If they think Fournier is better for their team, who's set up for a long-term situation.
I don't think he's looking at Josh, just would Portland doing. I think he's just saying, here's a scenario, here's a situation. If something like this were to happen, you dig what I'm saying? Not just that particular situation.
Well, again, Josh Hart has an expiring contract. His contract is up at the end of the year. That is short-sighted. That's literally the epitome of short-sighted. You're making a move to improve you by 2 games so you can be over 500 to try to get better positioning in the play-in.
I mean, the thing that I'm
short-sighted if Fournier's in the trade.
Right. That's the thing I was gonna say. If you're getting rid of an Evan Fournier if your team is saying we're no longer gonna use this guy and we're able to, Portland likes him. Let's just say hypothetically, Portland likes him. We can send him a draft pick or 2, one of these protected picks. We get off of that contract. Now we have more money for later on or something like that. We're still bringing back a player. I don't know if that would be short-sighted.
There
are ways to do
that. Very short-sighted, Tim.
Why is that? Why would that be short-sighted? If you're getting rid of a contract, if you're getting rid of $18 million, and you're still bringing back a player that you feel can replace it, right? Even though he's on he's in the last year of his contract. If he does move away, you still freed up the money.
Yeah, and
so how is that being short-sighted?
If an expiring contract you can't re-sign him as a free agent.
Because the whole purpose of making a move is to improve the team for right now to win a couple more games. That's why that's short-sighted. And there's no guarantee that Josh Hart's going to sign here afterwards.
Right, but that's the thing that could make it not short-sighted.
That's what I'm saying, Josh. You're being short-sighted because you're only looking at
more games. You don't know that. You don't got a crystal ball. My man, we can win 5 more games. You just never know how the team clicks.
We thought Jalen Brunson was going to do that for us too, right?
Well, I mean, come on. We're 11 games in. There's still some time for this. Come on. We're 11 games in. You can't say that as if we're 70 games in.
Brunson is there. You know what I mean?
Come on.
You don't know how a team is going to come together. And we have Brunson on the contract for 4 years. Maybe it might be a couple of more games. But, it could be 5 more games. It could be 5 less games. You don't know until you try.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your call. Very, 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 very good conversation, man. Very good conversation. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Man. Salute, brother. Salute.
Love.
Yeah, this is what happens when the New York Knicks lose, man. This is what happens. You know what I mean?
This is comedy gold. I have a question for the panel, okay? If we had traded, let's say, Immanuel, 'Emmanuel' Quickley, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, and 2 picks, Would you feel like we had got fleeced in that deal?
Say that again. If what?
Yes.
IQ, Grimes, Barrett, and Toppin, and 2 picks. Would you feel like we had got fleeced in that deal?
No.
They wasn't gonna do just 2 picks. They was looking for 3.
If we had put a 3rd pick in there, we give you RJ Barrett, Grimes, and Toppin.
No.
And Fournier.
I would have did it. I mean, I think
I
I
would
was
have
cool
done
with
that too.
I was cool with
I
that.
would have did that too. I
I
think
wanted
because
to. I wanted to keep RJ, but in the end,
too.
I was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because
In
I
the
know what
end,
Donovan
I
Mitchell
would've
is.
been- I think a lot of people didn't want to lose that many players and that many picks at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
And we
they
couldn't
didn't. They didn't. They
get
didn't.
rid of Fournier in that package.
I mean, I would have
And
upped the ante
we
on the
already-
picks if it was me. I would have
Right,
upped the ante on
right.
the picks. I would have dropped them some picks.
Because I'm gonna
That's
tell you
how
the
I am.
truth, that game against Cleveland hurt. It hurt my soul.
Yeah,
But
feel
the
you.
thing is, we went through this whole get the big guy now and then put pieces around them later with Carmelo, and look how that turned out.
2 different
I
situations.
think-
I mean, they put the
I
wrong
think-
pieces around Carmelo
Yes.
though.
Right,
It wasn't just that.
exactly.
They still had the ability to add pieces, right? They had assets to be able to add pieces after they got
Right.
Melo. They just made some wrong moves.
You
And
are
the thing
both
I'm
you are
getting
both
at-
you are both right, but I think Savvy's point is still valid because that still is an option of happening. Make the move now. We could still end up putting the wrong pieces behind them.
You could
again.
but I kind of feel like if you go out and get one of these guys, this guy could be the wrong piece that you got. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't believe in this front office.
You could go get a role player and then you be like, this guy don't really fit with this guy after you make the move. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true. And a lot of people, I mean, look at how we've drafted.
We gotta
A
talk
lot of
about
people
it.
don't think-
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that this front office can put the right pieces around a star player anyway because we can't even figure out who to draft properly.
But see, I disagree. I think this front office is smart. They may be
I
a
think
little
so,
bit
too.
too cautious.
Conservative.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
Excuse me. And I
Donovan
think
Mitchell
they're
might be
smart.
the next best star that we can get because he's only going to be there for 3 years.
Yeah.
In
we'll
3
see.
years from now, we got some more seasoned young guys. We made some trades in the meantime, and he becomes a free agent 2025.
Yeah. Let me get to this caller real quick, and then I want to get to RJ Barrett, and then we'll jump up out of here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
It's your boy, the Smoking Nick.
Hey, what's going on with you, my man?
Resident out of Brooklyn.
All right.
But,
SK, what
I live
up?
in California. How y'all doing?
Good, man. Appreciate
What's
you
poppin',
calling in.
Julio?
What's good, SK? What's up?
I think we overreacting like we always do. You feel me? Coaching played a part tonight. You know, Tibbs not making the rotations. I don't know what our offense looks like. You know, we're not like a well-oiled machine like we should. You know, I ain't gonna lie. RJ to me is just it's very disappointing to me. I'm not even gonna, but you know, I know he the golden child, so I'm gonna let him live. But we need to reevaluate that. You know what I mean? 100%.
Say what you gotta say,
But-
fam. Ain't no golden children.
Yeah. So you want the truth? That boy is a role
Yes.
player. He should have been traded. He needs to be traded. I don't know what he do well. He don't dribble well. He don't shoot well. He don't pass well. He don't think well. He's like a dry oil well. So I don't know what we see, and it's a big problem for me. But I'm in the minority. Come to that, you know. He's only what they say is his 4th year, and I'm comparing him to 9-year players. But these dudes that want Anthony Davis, foolishness to me, because at the end of the day, we got reliable players, and I'm gonna just say it. RJ is holding up what we really could be doing. Know what I mean, we got players holding themselves back, so we could drag him along. Know what I mean, we need to get somebody that's just going to get in, fit in, so we could do what we need to do and stop, like, you know, trying to drag him along because he's holding us up. It's clear.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, I never
All
thought of it
right.
that
I
way.
mean,
Hey,
you know,
hey,
I
you
still think RJ is
I,
young and has
I
some
don't. I don't want to go
potential.
too long-winded. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear a response before y'all, get rid of me.
I mean, I still feel like RJ is young and has some potential. I don't think he's going to ever be Donovan Mitchell. I don't. You know what I mean? But I think he has some potential to be a good basketball player in this league.
But Sim, now that I got you, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Is he going to be the all-star that he proclaimed to be, or proclaimed to want to be? 'Cause I got to be clear.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he can make a couple of all-star teams. Is he going to be a perennial all-star? In my opinion, I don't think he's going to be a perennial all-star. I think he'll,
And that's
the
the player that people say
he'll
on the
make
trade.
I don't see him making one all-star game because he has no skills to make him make it unless he's chucking it and taking 30 shots a game. He's the type of dude that's going to take 30 shots to get 30 points. That's the only way he's going to make it if we don't got no other dudes on the team that could do anything. That's why everybody want everybody gone so he could run and S it up, right? But this is what I want y'all to understand. We're going to get rid of the solid dudes that be making your dude look okay, and then he's going to look even worse.
Okay. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's a real perspective.
But I appreciate you taking my call.
I appreciate the
Julio,
opinion.
Sim, Crow. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all having me. Y'all have a blessed night. 100.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your
Appreciate
opinion.
you, bro.
Appreciate your
Facts.
thoughts.
Have a blessed night.
And with that, let's take a listen to
If
RJ.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, with that, let's take a listen to RJ. See what he has to say about the situation. It's RJ Barrett, ladies and gentlemen.
They just played harder than us tonight. They played harder. They played together. So yeah, that was really the story of the game.
Tom was saying that low energy offense, low energy defense. Do you think it's just when you fall behind like that, shoulders get slumped, or?
I think also like in the third, we really did like a good job of fighting, at that point. But it's tough when a team starts the game out like that.
Do you think that first quarter was more them or more you guys not maybe bringing the needed urgency?
Yeah, we weren't ourselves tonight. The course of 82 games, a game like this is going to happen, but we can't make this a habit. You know what I mean? Like, we got to come out with energy every single night, as much as we can. So it's a good thing that we got another one Friday.
Coach was saying that there's a sense, when you guys are behind like this, to kind of individually take over just because you want to do what you can for your team. I mean, how do you find the balance between doing that and then also making sure that you guys continue to play as a team?
I think if we do what we do, and if we do what we did in Minnesota, just all moving the ball, all sharing the ball, and then playing hard on defense, and getting out in transition, getting some easy ones. That's fun basketball, and when we get back to that, we'll be good.
And ladies and gentlemen, the key words there, defense, right? Getting out there, playing that defense. That's got to be the key word. It's got to start there. You want to get out in transition, play defense. Don't get out rebounded either. You know what I mean? Not by a team that came into the game averaging 35 rebounds a game, and you get out rebounded by 19, 55-46.
Sim, RJ is 100% right. I thought Thibodeau was 100% right in his interview as well. First thing they mentioned was effort. That's the first thing they mentioned. Effort. They wanted it more. They wanted it more than the Knicks, right? So I don't think they're lying. I mean, my eyes don't lie. Tonight's game was about effort, in my opinion. And I get it. Brooklyn shot hot, but having people wide open like that from three-point range, to me, that's an effort thing. I don't think it's a scheme thing. I think that's all about effort. And, I agree with RJ's assessment and Thibodeau's assessment.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let me get to another phone call here, then we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up because, about 12:15, it got pushed back to 12:15. We're going to do this front stoop on Kyrie.
Oh, that's tonight.
Ye. Yeah. Freedom of speech with a question mark. We're going to have some good conversations about what's going on, all right? So make sure you join us. The link is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, ladies and gentlemen. So we'd like to see you there. But let me get to this caller real quick. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, what's up? What's going on, Sim? Yeah. This is Noel out from Brooklyn, man. How you guys doing?
Good. What's your name?
Noel from Brooklyn.
Noel. Oh, what's going on with you, my man? How
Not
you
New
feeling?
Orleans.
Yeah, not New Orleans.
Nah, nah, never that. But like honestly, like I've been watching your show for a couple of years now. I'm a Nets fan actually. Watching your show for a couple of years now. I would say that, like, I guess Nets are a new team, so we don't have podcasts that are well established and stuff like that, like you are. So it's a dope show. But
Appreciate
how do you? I got a question for you guys. Yeah, I got a question for you guys and stuff like that. How do you guys see the whole dynamic of like the Nets being in Brooklyn? Because I know I always hear a lot of sneak shots. I always hear a lot of distance stuff like that. But do you guys really like, honestly, like because I know some of you guys are football ball players. So as a ball player, just seeing KD put a performance up like that, you just got to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you guys still have that vitriol towards the Nets, or is it just it's New York basketball? It is what it is. Good game.
I mean, me personally, I know there's some people that it's an inner city rival. You know what I'm saying? I really don't have any hate or vitriol towards any of the players or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a rival. I don't have any hate for them. There's no real vitriol for me.
Can I answer?
I go after you, Tony.
What's that word you said? Vitriol?
Vitriol.
I got vitriol. Yeah. I got a lot of vitriol. and
I respect it.
I
respect the honesty.
To be honest, it's less about Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn might have taken some of it away. It's more about New Jersey Nets than Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean? Like when they came to Brooklyn and the way they came to Brooklyn with the Jay-Z stamp and all that, like I had to respect that. But going back in the history and when the Nets were good, you know what I mean? Like when I mean real good, like 3-time Eastern Conference appearances and all that, like I felt like that was the beginning of the Knicks starting to be getting clowned. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We were good at that same time, but they took that they dominated that rivalry. I'll say that. And it became like the first little bit of embarrassment. And so they kind of spearheaded, you know what I mean? Our Knicks and bruises.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
if you will.
You know, I don't have vitriol. I just don't want them to win. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want them to win.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's no real, like, hate. I just don't want them to win. That's all.
For me,
yeah, I remember
I think Go ahead, Noel.
Okay, good. Yeah. I remember like I think it was a year ago on this podcast. He was like, "Oh, if the Nets win a ring, as Knicks fans, let's just all go out there and protest." And I'm like, "Damn."
Right.
Like,
right. Exactly. I just don't want them to win. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's no love lost or hate. It's like I wouldn't.
Got you.
You know, if they have a really good player, I still trade for him. I wouldn't be like, nah, he played for the Nets. I don't want him. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. I had that kind of feeling towards Michael Jordan. I don't wear Jordans to this day. But, you know, I don't have that kind of vitriol towards the Nets. I just don't want them to win. And I want the Knicks to be better always.
Noel, for me, I think having the Brooklyn Nets, I think it was great for the city. I think it was great for the city. For one, I'm from Brooklyn, right? Originally, I'm from Brooklyn. I'll always be a Knicks fan, though. I've been a Knicks fan, you know, for all my life. But I think it was great having the Brooklyn Nets there. A lot of people don't realize Brooklyn used to be its own city. It used to be apart from New York City. Right, Brooklyn is big enough, by far the biggest borough by population and all that. So I think it's good for the city having them there with that. Also, because the Knicks have been so bad in this city and they've been unopposed for years, I think having the Nets there puts a lot of pressure on the Knicks organization and James Dolan to improve, right, and to get better. And so that's, for me, I use that as a plus for the Knicks, right? And from a perspective of this competition within your own city now, I don't think the fans are ever going to swap over and it's going to be more Net fans than there is Knicks fans. I don't think that'll ever happen. The Nets can win a couple championships. It'll be up there. The hype will be up there, but it won't be the Knicks. This is always going to be a Knicks town, right? And the last thing I'll say is, if people want to go back, I'm kind of a historian, but the Islanders, they were formed in the 70s. They won 4 championships in the 70s back to back, right? The Rangers still dominate this town as far as hockey is concerned, and the Islanders won 4 Stanley Cups in a row, right? So this will always be a Knicks town.
And Noel, I hate to say it. You know, I don't want to hurt your feelings. But as soon as there's no more KD or Kyrie, and you know the Nets are winning like 17 to 20 games, there'll be nobody in the arena. You'll be able to buy tickets for $6 a night.
Yep.
Nah,
But I don't think the
yo,
Nets
let's
will
still
ever
have
like.
Cam Thomas.
James
Yeah, and that's
James
my thing
Harden
about
was
Brooklyn. Like,
Hold on, let Noel go. Go ahead, Noel.
yeah. Just to respond to you, Sim. I see, and that's why I'm not surprised. Like, look at the Nets when they started 2012. The first thing they did was go after Joe Johnson, go after Durant. I think you'll see this Nets team kind of like how you see the Dallas Mavericks, or a team that's always trying to win. I think the Nets may have a season where they laid off, but I think that the Nets know, because the Knicks know exactly. Like, first off, Julio made great points, and I do understand the Knicks could have a 5-win season. The fans will still be there. The Nets understand, like, we need to win to generate fans, generate money. So I think the Nets will never go that road of having like 5 years of losing.
You might
but
be
yeah,
right.
You guys make great points, man.
Yeah, you might be right. You
That's
really
why they
might
traded
be
for
right.
KG and Paul Pierce and all of them, which was bad for them now. But that's why they did it, because they wanted to win, get to the playoffs, you know, put some butts in the seats. That's exactly why they made that move.
Yeah, I mean, I
Hey,
do
Noel,
agree with Josh.
what's your name in the chat, in the YouTube?
On my YouTube chat, yeah, same name.
Same name.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
DK Noel.
Shout out to all the Nets fans in the chat, because I see there's a bunch of you, Jose Bless included.
Yeah, and you know, I do find that there's more, you know, there's more, a little bit more hate from the Knicks side towards the Nets side than Nets towards the Knicks, as far as fans are concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And just and just to end it off, like, you guys, great podcast. You, Sam, Tony Crow, Uncle Fully with the controversy. We need more black men making some Nets podcast. I think that, because I don't know, it's different, but thank you guys for taking my call. Appreciate
Why
it.
don't you start a Nets podcast? Why don't you start a Nets podcast, and then we can collab?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
and
that's
do
a great.
some stuff.
Like, I've been thinking about it. Too, but that's a great idea. And coming from you, man, that means a lot to me. So I appreciate you, man. I think about it though, man.
Hey,
When I
give him the email. Give him the email.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
S. Russell at nothingbutknicks.com. Start a Nets podcast with collab. I mean, it'll be great. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
support a black man
Appreciate
doing
you guys,
anything.
man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good
Definitely,
one.
man.
Appreciate
The
it.
Godfather gave his blessing.
I support a black
man.
man. I support a black man washing windows. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I support young black men washing windows every other day when I'm stopped at the light in Baltimore and they run up to me.
You know what I mean?
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I
Oh
mean?
my goodness.
And when
and
nowadays it's like, yo, I don't have any money. I'll take cash app. Or I tell them, no, I don't need the window clean. I mean, but can you help a young entrepreneur? I mean, they hit me with everything until I cash app them. I'm like, all right, man.
hearing that, because you got to get the money somehow.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, all right, let me scan your joint so I can send you something. Like, all right, I got you.
Point of sale. Point of sale, baby.
No doubt.
Hey, that's what the game is all about. And I was just going to say that even when they had Kyrie, KD, and Harden was struggling to give the tickets away while they had all three of them there. Okay? And so I know this is your show and you're being diplomatic. You ain't had to say that part about the Knicks having more hate for the Nets.
It's true, though. It's true.
But think about why. They came to
no doubt.
us and put their flag in our territory and said and started acting wild and stuff. We didn't come to New Jersey and do all that. You don't see the Newark Knicks. Okay, the Newark Knicks saying that we're gonna take over New Jersey. Okay.
Right.
Y'all came over here.
Nah, I feel you. You're right.
Invaders. And I don't have any vitriol. But I don't like them. And the reason I don't like them is because whether it's KG in them or D-Lo in them or Dinwiddie, they all go over there and act like, oh, we're the cool team. We're the cool guys. The Knicks are lame. I'm like, who was even talking to y'all? It was so unprovoked. I'm like, okay. We're over here cooling, letting y'all do y'all thing and cook in our backyard, and we're not even tripping, but you're going to talk? Okay, all right, man.
I
Hey,
feel
listen.
you. You're right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up out of here. And speaking of the Nets, a few minutes, we're going to do this show on the front stoop. There's a link right at the top of your YouTube chat. You know, just talking about what's going on with Kyrie, Kanye, and all of that. You know what I mean?
Noel, join us.
Conversation. Yeah, Noel, join us, bro. We should have a good conversation with that one right there, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Thank you for staying up, even though we're all kind of sore and mad and upset that the Knicks lost to the Nets in the fashion that they did. You know, we got another one coming up. We have to get them back. We got to get them back. But first, we got to take out Detroit on Friday. And on Friday, that Slam, Kith and Slam got that magazine cover with Derrick Rose and Jalen Brunson. They'll be giving those away at the game on Friday. So if you're going to the game, you can get one of those magazine covers. You know what I mean? It's a dope magazine cover. I'm hoping that they sell it because I'm not going to the game so I can order one, but it's definitely a dope magazine cover. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time, and hopefully we catch you over there on the front stoop. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. The assist, you know that is #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench.